Hello and welcome to our special program, Verdict 2016. I'm Ishan Russell. Verdict 2016 is, of course, your daily roundup of all the news from the poll-bound states. And today we'll be focusing especially on Kerala with a special guest, Rajya Murthy of the week. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Bar license to five-star category hotels triggers row in Kerala. Chief Minister Oommen Chandy clarifies that his government had no role in granting bar licenses to five-star hotels. The CPIM calls it the government's policy and it calls it fake. The BJP's all-shift election campaign into top gear in Kerala. Prime Minister Modi and BJP President Amit Shah to address some of the 70 rallies planned in the state. Several union ministers also to hit the campaign trail from next week. And today we throw the spotlight on Shingur in West Bengal and focus on the miserable plight of the people in the district. All right, first up, news from Kerala. Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy clarified that his government had no role in the grant of bar licenses to five new five-star hotels in the state. He said it was done by the centre as part of its tourism policy. The Chief Minister also added that there was nothing unusual in it. He also made it clear that the UDF would not dilute its policy, envisaging total prohibition in 10 years. KPCC President VM Sudhiran, who has been at the forefront of the anti-liquor campaign, also said that the UDF will not change its policy on prohibition. The issues triggered a row with the CPIM, with veteran V.S. Achyutanandan attacking the UDF government, saying it has exposed the government's fake liquor policy to dupe the public. And in our studio, we have Rajya Murthy, resident editor of the week, to help us understand, Sachi, prohibition. How big an issue is it for the electorate in Kerala? Because amongst the political rhetoric, at least, we're seeing it becoming bigger and bigger by the day.
I think it's a very important issue because, as you know, Kerala has had a very free policy as far as liquor shops and liquor bars and others are concerned. So, but then ever since 2 years ago, when the Kerala Excise Department said that more than 400 bars are not fulfilling the licensing conditions in terms of hygiene and other amenities. So they decided not to renew those licenses. That became a big issue. Then the government said that will not renew the license. It was a big battle. Then the Kerala government came with a policy of phasing out sale of liquor in the state over a 10-year period, because as you know, in Kerala, while bars are run by private individuals and corporations and organizations, sale of liquor through shops is controlled by the state government. Right. So the state government said that every year will close 10% of these shops, so that after 10 years there will be no sale of liquor except. But then what had happened was the government said that five-star hotels are permitted to give liquor because as per the national tourism policy, and so there was a big row over that. And as you remember, the Kerala Bar Owners Association accused the then finance minister, Mr. K.M. Mani, a very important part of the ruling UDF, that he had demanded a bribe, and Mr. Mani had to resign his post because of adverse comments from the Kerala High Court. So, I mean, this has been bubbling, this issue has been there.
So, it's prohibition coupled with corruption then, I would say, because corruption, I mean, even if we look into what V.S. Achyutanandan is saying, he's calling it a fake liquor policy, and that, in my understanding, hints towards corruption, and that is the LDF's main plank,
because
isn't it?
There have also been allegations, very interestingly. One is against the excise minister of the state, Mr. K. Babu, but he has refused to step down, saying that I have not done anything wrong, and there's no this thing. But then also there have been videos which have audio tapes and videotapes which have surfaced about the bar owners having a truck with the left leaders, saying that the left, if they come to power, the communists, they will relax their liquor policy. So I think the politics, like in many other states, liquor policy is enmeshed in politics.
All right, but is it also geared towards the women voter? Because, for example, in Bihar, that is what was one of the reasons as it was cited for Nitish Kumar's win.
Yeah, so yes, it is in Kerala because a lot of women organizations, as well as in Kerala, the additional dimension is religious organizations. like a group of bishops, like a group of Hindu organizations, they had demanded prohibition because they said that alcoholism was becoming a major bane social evil in Kerala. So they said that the church had strongly supported, several Hindu organizations supported, Muslim organizations. So there has been also a religious dimension to it. And as you know, Kerala is a composite religious state where both the majority and the minority are in substantial numbers.
Right.
So I think there was this issue which became, some of the bishops had said that they will go on an agitation to enforce prohibition. So all that is combined. So it is an issue now in this election.
All right, and now we'll talk about the political parties. I'll come back to you, Sachidanand Murthy, because we'll talk about the BJP because it's all set to shift its election campaign in Kerala into top gear with Prime Minister Modi, Party President Amit Shah, among the top leaders slated to address some 70-odd rallies in the state. Now, as the campaign enters the next phase, the BJP plans to get top leaders to address rallies from the 25th of April. Chief among them being Union Ministers Sushma Swaraj, Rajnath Singh, M. Venkaiah Naidu and Nirmala Sitharaman. The BJP is contesting 97 out of the 140 assembly seats. Its main ally, the BDJS, has been allotted 37 seats, while the remaining 6 seats have been given to smaller partners. The BJP has pulled out all stops to give a tough fight this time to the ruling Congress-led UDF and LDF, spearheaded by the CPIM, in its bid to open its account in the state. BJP State President K. Rajashekaran, former Union Minister O. Rajagopal and former party President V. Muralidharan, P. Krishnadas and P. Sridharan Pillai are some senior state leaders trying their luck in the polls. And Sachidanand Murthy, resident editor of The Week, is with us in the studio. Saji, as far as the BJP is concerned, as our story was also saying that it's trying to open its account on the state and it's contesting, I mean, its alliance is contesting virtually all seats. But how feasible is it? Do you think that they have enough traction to at least win a seat or two?
No, I think for BJP, this is the last frontier. This is the only state where they have not won assembly seat according to their thing. I mean, so they have been trying it for many times and they came tantalizingly close in a couple of elections. In the last Lok Sabha election, as you mentioned, Mr. O. Rajagopal, the former union minister from the state, gave such a close fight to Shashi Tharoor of the Congress in Thiruvananthapuram Lok Sabha constituency. And then again in a subsequent assembly by-election, Rajagopal did quite well. I mean, he came second. So they think that they are on the cusp of that maiden entry into the Kerala Assembly. So and then this time they have gone into an alliance with a new political party floated by one of the powerful socio-cultural educational organizations of the major Hindu community, the Ilavas. So as you said about the Bharatiya Dharma Jana Sena is making its electoral debut in this election.
Okay.
So and then they are supposed to be a swing factor in about 6 or 7 districts in southern Kerala. And the BJP itself says that they have the strongholds in the southernmost districts of Trivandrum and Kollam, and then in the northern districts of Palakkad and Kasaragod.
Right.
So they are doing everything possible. The BJP president has visited Kerala a number of times. He has gone and met various social, political and religious leaders. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, ever since he came to power, he has been organizing groups of different Hindu organizations to come to Delhi. There have been events held in Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan. He has gone and addressed a major rally on the sands of the Marina ground in Marine Drive in Cochin. So he has made a number of visits to the state and all that. And now BJP President Amit Shah and Union Health Minister JP Nadda have been fine-tuning this thing. They encourage and then also in Kerala, the RSS, which has been at loggerheads with the CPM, there have been a trail of blood murders between the two. So RSS and the Hindu Aikya Vedika, the Hindu Unity Forum, of which Kovinam Rajashekaran, the BJP state president, was earlier the convener of the. So there is a concerted effort by the BJP because under RSS, Sangha Parivar, that we must open our account, we must teach a lesson to both the Congress and the CPM.
All right, but then who gets taught the lesson? Because in terms of the electoral base, who would they be eating into, the LDF or the UDF?
See, it also depends because, I mean, the BJP is banking on the Hindu votes there. So the Nayars, by and large, have been, while sympathy to BJP, have been traditionally voters for the Congress party. And the Ilavas have been traditionally voters for the CPM. I mean, I'm talking a large chunk of that. So now, by this combination with the BDJS, BJP is hoping that it can attract and consolidate the Hindu vote in the state so that it can damage the prospects of both the Congress and the CPM.
Okay.
How it will work in terms of electoral chemistry and arithmetic, that has to be seen on the ground, because this is the first time this kind of a alliance has happened. Otherwise, BJP was a lone ranger. It used to contest all the 140 seats,
right,
and then had the satisfaction of getting some 20,000-30,000 votes in a seats. But it didn't make a difference between the intense fight between the UDF and the LDF. This time, it's thinking, because of also the BJP is a majority government at the center. So there's much more appeal of the rule of Mr. Modi, his vision and all that. So they think they can sell that. That's why he's going to address several rallies, though he knows that BJP is not a contender for power or even a contender in a hung assembly. But then they still want to make that, open that account.
I think also because a quick word about that, about the bloodshed that you mentioned, that
Yes.
there were recent killings and hacking of people, in fact. So that trail of blood has been quite reported in a major way.
Yes.
Has that created attraction, or at least created a sense of sort of alienation or split communities?
No, Ishan, what happens is, especially this happens in the 2-3 districts of North Kerala. There, the battle lines are drawn.
The Palakkad, Kasaragod.
The people who vote for the left will vote whatever they think, because there the floating votes are very less. Those who are committed to the RSS, BJP, those who are committed to the UDF, to either the Congress or the Muslim League, they are committed. So that way I don't see very much of movement. So the traction may be more in southern Kerala. That's why this tie-up with the BDJS.
All right, on that note, we'll have to wrap it up. Sachidanand Murthy, thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand the politics of Kerala in such detail. Thanks so much for that. Well, staying with news from Kerala, our correspondent Ravindra Shauran spoke with Kerala's senior CPM leader and former Rajya Sabha MP, P. Rajiv, on his party's expectations from the upcoming assembly elections.
This time we expect more because the anti-incumbency factor is very high in Kerala, and this alliance with some backdrop alliance with the Congress and BJP, it is already discussed in very detail in these district segments, and we think we can make more.
क्या अहम मुद्दे हैं जिनको आप उठाने वाले हैं? आपको लगता है कि उसकी वजह से वोटर आपकी तरफ ज़्यादा झुकाव होगा?
Major issue corruption. Actually, this government is competing with the UPA government. The last Lok Sabha election, the people voted against the corrupted UPA government. We expect the same fate for this Umanjandi-led corrupted government. Most of the public distribution system is dismantled, and the price rise is very high.
लिकर बैन का जो मामला है, उसमें आपकी पार्टी का स्टैंड अभी तक क्लियर कुछ नहीं हो पाया है. एक जो इंडस्ट्री खासतौर पर टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री है, उनका मानना है कि दिस विल इफेक्ट देम एडवर्सली. और दूसरी जो इंडस्ट्री है, दूसरा जो सेक्शन है जिसमें रिलीजियस पीपल है, उन लोगों का कहना है कि प्रोहिबिशन शुड बी देयर. आप लोगों का क्या स्टैंड है, पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड?
Our position is we never take a step to increase the consumption of alcohol in this state. Never. We always stick for a reduce the consumption of alcohol. We should take all steps to reduce the consumption of alcohol in these states. But their position is entirely different, UDF. This policy is the result of a corrupt activity of that government. But nowhere in the world prohibition is an answer to reduce the consumption of alcohol.
Now, despite being a small party, the Revolutionary Socialist Party has a strong base in the Kollam district of Kerala. Previously an ally of the LDF, the RSP has parted ways with the party and joined hands with the UDF in 2014. Our correspondent Ravindra Sharan spoke with RSP leader N.K. Premachandran, who is confident of performing well in these assembly elections.
2014 in the 16th parliament elections, we had some differences with CPM regarding the seat sharing and their unilateral approach in seat sharing and all these things. So we had strong reservations, and finally we thought there was no other way or option. We are forced to opt out this LDF, and subsequently we have joined the UDF. After joining UDF, this is the first state assembly election which we are going to face.
कैशूनट फार्मर्स का बड़ा इशू है सर. कैशूनट ग्रोवर्स जो हैं, इंडस्ट्री है, वो डिस्ट्रेस में है. उसके अलावा और कोयर बोर्ड का, यहाँ पे कोयर का जो मामला है, इन चीज़ों को हाउ विल यू एड्रेस दीज प्रॉब्लम्स?
So one of the major issues is the cashew. That is the cashew workers crisis in Kollam. That is a major issue actually because of the global scenario, so many developments, because the price of the raw cashew nuts have increased like anything in the international market. But in the state, the cost of labor is very high and the cost of the cashew nuts is also very high. So it is very difficult to meet this profit and loss situation. Since even then, we are trying our level best to open all the cashew factories which are owned by the government of Kerala.
पिछली वाली जो विधायक जितने आपके जीते थे उससे ज़्यादा बढ़ के आएंगे या उतने ही आप जीत पाएंगे सर?
See, last assembly election, the United Democratic Front led by the Congress had only 2 seats in Koilon district or Kollam districts. Definitely that situation will improve, number one. Not only improve, majority of the seats in Kollam will now be won by UDF, United Democratic Front, out of which 3 seats are RSP seats and 1 seats for Muslim League, and all other seats are being contested by the Congress. We had a very good expectation that we can make a very good performance in this assembly elections with majority of the seats in Kollam in the coming assembly election.
Time for us to take a short break. On the other side, we'll take you on the campaign trail in Tamil Nadu, where we join former Union Minister and CM hopeful Anbumani Ramdas as he campaigns for his party in the state. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Verdict 2016. Let's shift focus now to West Bengal. Now in West Bengal, our focus today is on Shingur, a place known for the forceful ouster of the Tata Nano plant from West Bengal. In this report, we will focus on the people's issues, though, their pain and agony that they've been experiencing. After 10 years since this whole nano plants incident took place, the case is now in court.
Ten years ago, Shiv Shankar left his engineering course midway to take up a job in Tata's nano plant. But the factory shut down and he lost this job. Today, Shiv Shankar has neither a job nor a degree.
सिंगूर के आम आदमी के बारे में कोई किसी ने भी नहीं सोचा. उधर जो रूरल पार्टी है बोले जो भी अपोजिशन पार्टी है कोई नहीं सोचा. बस वो लोग पॉलिटिक्स करते गए और हम लोग सफर होते रहे. अब जो सिंगूर का जो कंडीशन हो गया, कोई भी पार्टी यहाँ पे नया फैक्ट्री नहीं लगा सकते.
Shiv Shankar is one of the many youngsters who hoped the Tata project will usher in development. Many voluntarily gave up their land, some got compensation, some didn't. West Bengal was one of those who got compensation, but all that money has been spent.
টাকা মিল গিয়া কিন্তু জমিতে দিয়া থা যে কারখানা হোনা সেই কিন্তু কারখানা তো হলো না তো ক্ষতির জমিটা চলে গেল তো টাকা তো আমার দরকার ছিল না.
Farmers whose lands were forcibly taken away are upset.
कंपेंसेशन लिए हमारा लड़ाई नहीं था. हम लोग ऐसा बात बोला ये उर्वर जमी फार्टाइल लैंड ये लैंड ये एक मैंने खाद्य सुरक्षा खाद्य भांडार है आप लोग आगे बढ़ो ওখানে এক ফসলি জমি পতি জমি আছে সেখানে ইন্ডাস্ট্রি লাগাও
The Singur incident established Mamata Banerjee firmly in the state's politics. It helped her in a big way to form the state government in 2011. Mamata, who had then opposed industry in the state, is today desperately trying to bring it back in the state.
Industrialization may create opportunity of employment, but that is another thing. But those cultivators who are giving their lands forever, they are to be properly inhabited. That was not done. So Mamata Banerjee protested.
The issue of Singur farmers is still in the Supreme Court. In the name of compensation, they get 2,000 rupees and 16 kilogram of rice a month. The left is claiming it will bring in industry if it forms the government.
वो तो बुद्धदेव भट्टाचार्य कुछ दिन आगे सिंगूर में आया था वो बोला फर्स्ट काम होगा सिंगूर में इंडस्ट्री हम बनाएगा इधर से तो कारखाना चला नहीं जाना चाहिए कारण 85% फार्मर्स जब एग्री
Singur is a case study in how politics was used to play with the future of the people. The left government approved the Tata's nano factory. Mamata Banerjee opposed it and got it shut down. 10 years later, Singur has neither factory nor jobs or even development. Arfa Khanam Sherwani's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, let's shift focus now to Tamil Nadu. Now, amid all the noise of who will be the kingmaker and who will be the king, PMK leader Anbumani Ramdas insists his chances of emerging as the chief minister in Tamil Nadu elections are bright. Rejecting the idea of freebies, he insists on free services in sectors of health and education. Here's how he hit the campaign trail in Chennai.
Patali Makkal Kachi leader and chief ministerial candidate Anbumani Ramadas has sought a chance to rule Tamil Nadu, promising to provide a transparent and corruption-free government. He served as the youngest cabinet minister at 35 and led the Ministry for Health and Family Welfare from 2004 to 2009 as part of the then UPA government. He is currently a member of parliament from Dharmapuri constituency. He sets the tone of the electoral battle, breaking up contentious local issues. He started his day by addressing several press conferences and giving interviews to the scribes in Coimbatore in Chennai. Ramadas then goes on to address a large public gathering in Annasalai area of Chennai. The former Union Health Minister is known for his crusading efforts demanding the ban on tobacco and bringing about total prohibition of alcohol. The loss of revenue on account of prohibition, he claims, would be made good by preventing smuggling of sand and other minerals.
Women are very, very angry with her for enforcing alcohol, not selling alcohol, enforcing alcohol. And because Tamil Nadu is a state where it has the highest road traffic accidents in the country. Tamil Nadu is a state which has got the highest young widows in the country. Tamil Nadu has got the highest suicide rates in the country. Tamil Nadu has got the highest liver disease problem in the country, all because of alcohol. So this is where people, women identify PMK as the only party who could bring in total prohibition.
Anbumani Ramadas has plunged into image-building exercise. Youthful apparel, custom-made podiums and dialogue with diverse target audience have become norm for him. In a departure from political culture and rhetoric of Tamil Nadu, Anbumani delivers data-laden speeches.
India, maternal mortality rate 50% reduction, infant mortality rate 55% reduction.
Ramadas has got support from unexpected quarters ahead of the assembly elections. Professionals for Anbumani, or PFA, is a forum of professionals that has vowed to broaden his support base.
Very important thing that he has done for the society is very strong hands against tobacco and alcohol. He has a vision for industries, he has a vision for agriculture, he has a vision for the farmers, he has a vision for the women and child health. These are the basic bones, basic pillars that will hold the country.
However, PMK has been identified with the caste groups of Vaniyars. PMK is looking at shedding its caste tag and increasing its acceptability among the urban voters. Anbumani has a Herculean task of expanding his political outreach.
Because this is where our enemies are singling us out and spreading canards about PMK, saying that PMK is this party, it's here and there. We are everywhere, we are broad-based everywhere. And we've come a long way. and our vote bank has increased.
As Ramadas heads home to hold a series of meetings with party workers, he exudes confidence that Delhi boycotted both the Congress and the BJP and chose Kejriwal. Likewise, in Tamil Nadu, both the DMK and the AIADMK will be rejected. For a political party whose appeal is confined to the northern and northwestern regions of Tamil Nadu, the PMK's aspiration to replace the Dravidian parties in the assembly elections sounds ambitious. To win the support of the young voters, the party needs to have a clear roadmap to reduce unemployment in the state. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, that's it from us. Goodbye.